Happy birthday, Mom. This is your baby boy, Bryan. Just a few things I'd like to share with everybody. I remember when, really the first memory that I can remember of Mom is she would walk David and Sue to Monroe Elementary School. And then afterwards, the fun begun. She'd take me and let me stop at any bug, plant, flower that I wanted to look at or smell. And we walked all over the neighborhood, the house of Hickory Lane, and let me enjoy the birds, the flowers. And then every once in a while, if we got lucky and the Helms truck would stop by, and she'd let me pick out a donut. Those were the special days, and I remember that. Growing up was always fun. 6 of us. We were very quiet and not too active children. We all know better than that. So she had to raise all 6 of us, and Dad was there after about 5:30, but he was always at work and came back later on that night. So Mom had to run the ship, and we were a fun ship. And I remember the special times. Mom always, if I had an orchestra concert, then she'd be driving me around and lugging me and a string bass, and loading a string bass in the car is always exciting, and she was always there to help do that. So I really appreciate that, Mom. The other thing too is I remember a special time after I was 8 that I got to go with Mom on a train ride to Salt Lake to attend General Conference, and I remember how special that was. I know I shook an apostle's hand, and I still remember the sweet spirit that was. And Mom shared that trip with me, going up on the train and coming back on the train, and staying with her family, and how much fun that was. I remember when I was 8 years old that at my baptism, Mom made strawberry pies, and I got my own strawberry pie from Mom, and how much I enjoyed that. And thanks, Mom, for that. Important things. I remember later on during my social years that every once in a while I'd be making a decision that was probably not the right one. And Mom would come to me and say, I just have a feeling that you shouldn't go. And I learned to respect that. And it frustrated me because I debated in high school and I wanted to argue that point, but I knew I couldn't argue it and I would not win from that feeling. So I would call my friends up and say, hey, I just can't go, I have to work, or I'd make up an excuse. I couldn't say, my mom said I couldn't go, but the reality is I shouldn't, and I didn't, because she helped me with that decision. The other thing is I knew every night, if it was a late night and I was out with my friends, that when I got home, I'd have to walk by Mom's bed and tell her I was home. And I learned not to do that. I turned down many fun late activities because I knew I'd be facing Mom when I came home. And she would just say, what time is it? Did you have a good time? But I knew that not to push the limit there. And she helped me there many a times, because I turned down things that I probably should not go to because I knew I'd be facing Mom. And I said, I can't go to that because when I get home I have to tell my mother where I was. So no, I'm not going. So thank you, Mom. You kept me on the straight and narrow because I knew I'd be facing you and I didn't want to do that or disappointing you. So thanks so much for that help. The love for music and movies. I can't tell you as a family how many great pieces of music Mom played on the record player for us, on the stereo, and how that would just fill the whole house. And Barbara Streisand and just fantastic musicals. We all grew up loving them because she loved them so much and Dad loved them so much, and they shared it with us. So happy birthday. We love you. You set a standard, and I helped that standard help me find my wife. So I appreciate it and love you. And I know I'm I always will be your baby boy, Bryan, and I always know you care. Thanks so much. Love you. Happy birthday.